Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We will continue with our course Investment and Portfolio Management. The course code is MGT 531 and today's lecture is lecture number 19, and the reference book is the same as we have been discussing in the previous lectures, that was by Christina, conducted in 2010, about the investment analysis and portfolio management. First of all, I will discuss the summary of the last lecture. We did the industrial analysis in the previous lectures. We did different questions with respect to the environment and performance of the industrial sector, and we did two important tools and the aspects on the basis of which the performance of any industry can be elaborated or can be made. And the first important point is the demand for the goods and services of the industry and the goods produced by the industry. Definitely demand is very much important. This is what which can lead the industry to produce more and more and to supply more and more goods in the economy. If the people do not demand the goods of any industry, do not demand the product of any industry, definitely it will be harmful for the industrial production process and the cycle of the industry to take place, and as a result will affect the total revenues and profit of the industry, and may harm the end result and the recycling of the output of the industry. Pricing is another important factor which is likely to affect the performance of the industry in its production and its production cycle. That is, for example, what type of the prices the industry is charging for its product from the consumers, and whether these prices can be are possible by the consumers to pay as far as the nature of the product is concerned. It also depends upon the nature of the product which the industry is likely to produce. And it also tells us that that the other firms, other industries, how they can come up with their production and in terms of the prices to compete with this particular industry. And if the prices are reasonable and they are affordable by the consumer, definitely, and the quality of the product is good, consumers will stick to this product, and if they are satisfied, and otherwise the new industries, they can capture the market. And one more important point that we discussed was that the prices of the product should be maintained at such level that the industry is able to finance its cost and finance and pay the prices to the factors of production. In other words, we can say that in the hope of and the desire of acquiring the market to a greater extent and market share to a larger extent, industry should not reduce the price level in such a manner and to such a level that it is not capable to manage the rewards and is not capable to manage its cost of production and the payments to the factors of production. Then what we will do in today's lecture is that we will continue with our industrial analysis, and we will continue to discuss different problems that the industry may confronted with during the process of the production. And with the help of the discussion about these problems, we can go through the development of industrial analysis. And the third important factor that we can discuss as far as the performance of the industry is concerned is the cost of production. And fourth important point with reference to the progress and development of industrial production and the cycle of industry to be analyzed is that the influence of the whole economic and financial market to the industry. That how we can discuss and what can be the possible impact of the economic and financial market to the industry. Then we have the stock analysis. Continuing with the stock analysis and the discussion with the industry, we can say that is where this industry a high competition in the international environment. What segment of the industrial production, at what point the industry can compete with the international environment. And the simple words, we can say that we can discuss that what type of segment, what type of level of the production process, and what segment of the commodity of the commodity of the production, we can say the firm can this particular industry can compete with the international environment, or it should produce is such a good product, it should produce such a the quality product that it can provide the product to the international level, and that is besides fulfilling our own consumption, besides fulfilling our own need of the product of the industry can be capable to produce it to such a level that can export to the foreign countries, can involve in the international trade and compete with international trade at the international environment. Then question is that what is the point at which industry can compete with the financial product. The important thing is that we can say that with the help of which the industry can compete with the financial environment or the international economy is the first of all is the quality of the product. Quality of the product is too much important, which can enable the firm to capture the international market. अगर क्वालिटी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट जो है वो अच्छी होती है तो दिस पर्टिकुलर इंडस्ट्री कैन कोप विद द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट, कैन fulfill, can satisfy the needs of the financial international buyers, and can continue to supply when there will be demand for the product of this industry from the international level and from the international consumers. Definitely it means the industrial product is satisfying the needs and wants and psychological wants of the foreigners, and it will increase the trade, it will increase the supply of the product and the export of the product. The second is that the price should be reasonable. If the reasonable price is charged, definitely it will create the market for the in the international market for this particular product. So reasonable price is another important aspect, another quality and good point of the industry, which industrial product, which can increase the production of this product by the industry, and industry can and the product of the industry can acquire an important place at the international level and among the international economies, and can compete with the international economies in this respect. Is there in this industry a high competition in the international environment? This question can be discussed with within in the light of these 2 points, that quality of the output of the industry and price of the output of the industry is important to satisfy the psychological needs of the foreigners as well as the consumption needs of the foreigner. Third important point that we have to discuss is about the cost. How is the industry supplied with the implements of the production? That what are the implements of the production with which the industry can supply? Are the tendency of the prices of raw materials used in this industry substantially influencing the price? The important aspect of this question is regarding the cost of the production and cost of the inputs that the firm is utilizing. And we know that the production process involves the basic point in the production process go through the production function, and production function we know that it depends upon the labor input, it depends upon the capital input, which is another important input, it depends upon the land, which is the plant, and it depends upon the manager, which is the entrepreneur, and other associated factors of production that we can use to produce and to complete the production of our of the industry. So the cost of production is an important aspect that the industry should analyze carefully at the time of making the feasibility of the production, in order to have optimal production and in order to have least cost combination, or should use such combinations of the input prices that it is likely to minimize the cost of production. And we can say that definitely if the cost of production is low, so there will be a large gap maintained between total revenues and total cost of production, and when there is a substantial gap and difference lying between the total revenues and total cost, we can say that the profit level will be high. And the profit, what is the profit? Profit is basically comprising of and is based on 2 points. One is known as total revenue, which is obtained from the sale of the output, and we multiplied the price per unit divided into quantity sold in the market is total revenue. Second important part is the total cost. A total cost depends upon the cost of all inputs, and all inputs are included in this total cost to calculate the total cost of the firm's production. And total revenue minus total cost, when we take the difference between the revenues and cost, we can form the profit, and we can have the profit. This is the graph for the total revenues, where we have total revenues T are at maximum level, and then we can draw the graph for the cost of production. And the cost of production is like this. This is the long run average cost curve, and we maintain the sufficient gap between the two. When we are able to draw the gap, and we are able to maintain the gap between the two, so we can say this is the long run average cost curve, and the difference between these 2 points, for example the point A and point B, is known as the total profit of the. So this indicates that the difference between total revenue and total cost is basically the total profit of the firm. And the objective to minimize the cost is to maximize the total profit of the firm, and this can enable the firm to undertake further profit, and at this to undertake further production, and therefore further profit. Then we can say that minimization of cost means that we want to maximize the total revenue, and this leads to maximization of the total profit. This situation is known as optimal combination, and an optimal combination of the sale and the production and the cost. And this is also known as least cost combination, that we choose the factors of production in such a way that they are giving minimum cost of production to the producer. And then labor cost is also an important part, is the labor cost, and we can say is the question of the qualification of human resources in this industry. Definitely we know that we have the labor cost, and we have capital cost, we have land cost, we have the reward of the manager, or the salary to the manager or the entrepreneur. We have these 4 types of the cost. As far as the cost is labor cost is concerned, we have the question of the type of the labor. What type of labor is being used in this? What type of labor is being used? For example, we can say one is the unskilled labor is used, and we can use the semi-skilled labor, and we can use the skillful labor. 3 types of labor may be involved in the production process, depending upon the nature of the output being produced. So we can say whether the product can be produced with the help of the unskillful labor, or raw labor, or it requires the semi-skillful labor, or it requires the skillful labor, or which are known as the technical persons. And it definitely the wages and the rewards will be vary accordingly. Wages for the unskilled will be different from the wages for semi-skilled and wages for the skillful workers. And the question is that whether the qualified, if we are talking about this particular industry, this common industry A का नाम दिया था in our previous lecture. This is the industry A producing the commodity X. So commodity X, whether this commodity X, the production of this commodity requires unskilled labor, that is, we can say that the unskillful labor can continue and undertake the process of production, या फिर semi-skillful labor can continue and undertake the process of production, or we need technical persons to undertake the production. So this question is very much important, that whether the qualified human resources are required, or whether less qualified or unqualified or illiterate, जिनको कहते हैं illiterate, can undertake or can continue the production process, and definitely rewards of them will be decided accordingly. And whether the firm offered the prices are particular prices which cannot change are specific prices which cannot change, are the human resources they negotiate with the management, with the administration of the industry. As far as the rewards are concerned, it depends upon the situation, and however we can say that the question is there. And we have two types of adjustment. For example, if administration of the industry can itself work out the problem with the workers and can decide itself the rewards which can be given, which can be paid to the workers itself, or there is need for the third body. As besides the workers and administration, we need third body which are known as unions. So whether we need the unions in order to be helpful to the workers to decide their rewards with the management of the industry and with the administration of the industry, or in other words we can say that union can work as a advisory body and helping body to the workers, and can be advisory body to the administration as far as the decision of the wage rates and prices of the workers is concerned. So this question of qualification is very much important, because we know that technical persons and qualified persons and trained persons, they are more likely to work more efficiently. They can lead to efficient level of the output, and when they lead to efficient level of the output, we come to know that the higher productivity can take place, and that the high supply of the output can be made within the short time. So efficiency basically means that the cost of production will be low. When we have qualified workers and trained workers, they are definitely efficient workers. They produce, they undertake the production efficiently and in short time period. And what do we mean by the efficiency? Efficiency basically shows that less time is used, and we can show that the less cost, low level of cost is involved. Or in other words, we can say that low level of cost in terms of time, low level of cost in terms of the wages and the payments made to the workers can make the firm, can make the industry to do this and to undertake the production in this respect and in this way and method. Then we can say that we have the fourth important analysis, with the help of which, four important aspects with the help of which we can analyze the industrial behavior, and we can analyze the industrial production cycle. And all these type of discussion that we have been doing is very much important to analyze and to come aware of the situation prevailing in the financial market, and to be aware of the situation prevailing in the stock market. So the influence of the whole economics and financial market to the economy. So we can say what we can analyze what is the impact of the industrial production and the systematic pattern and smooth pattern of industrial production on the overall economic situation of the country and on the overall economic situation of the other sectors of the economy, on the economic situation of the different markets which are known as financial market, which are known as money market, which are the asset market and the labor market. Is this industry defensive or growing? How it could function in a period of economic recession? तो recession का इसके ऊपर क्या impact पड़ता है? How the recession can impact the industry? Or recession, we know, if we look at the trade cycle, so we know that recession is the time period in which we are in low level of the production, and the situation is not good. In other words, we can say, for example, we can say this is the peak time period, or peak time period for the trade cycle indicate that we are having higher level of output, high productivity in our economy, in our industries, in our companies and firms. So we can say that the peak time period indicates prosperity and indicates that we are having high standards of living, we are having higher per capita income, and the first stage basically indicates the recovery period. This is known as recovery period, जिसमें हमारा हालात जो है वो बेहतर हो रहे होते हैं. We are recovering our desperate situation, we are recovering our bad situation, and we are trying to control the environment which was harming the production, and now we will after some time we will be able to go to the end to reach the situation where we are again in peak. So the recovery situation, when we are recovering, the desperate situation is good. Is not bad, it is good because we are trying to overcome our environment and our problems. And what is peak? Peak is when we have done all the and solved all the problems. Then we have the downward situation. We are declining, we are basically moving towards the recession. And what is the recession? Recession basically indicate that when we are in desperate downfall. जब इकोनॉमी जो होती है या कोई इंडस्ट्री डाउनफॉल में होती है या डेस्परेट सिचुएशन में होती है, दैट इज़ नोन एज रिसेशन. रिसेशन का जो मेन इंडिकेशन ऑफ रिसेशन है, दैट इज़ कि रिसेशन में डिमांड जो है वो कम हो जाती है. डिमांड फॉर गुड्स of the industrial sector, demand for the product of the economy falls. डिमांड जो होती है वो कम हो जाती है और डिमांड फॉर सर्विसेज कम हो जाती है. जब डिमांड के कम होने का मतलब ये है कि कंजम्पशन कम हो गई है. और कंजम्पशन क्यों कम हो जाती है? बिकॉज पीपल डू नॉट हैव परचेजिंग पावर. इसके कम होने का मतलब ये है कि वी हैव नो मनी टू स्पेंड on the purchase of and on the consumption of the different goods and services produced in the economy. When we have no money to spend, तो जब पैसे हमारे पास नहीं होते, कंजम्पशन फॉल, डिमांड फॉल्स. और डिमांड के कम होने का मतलब ये है कि जो है आउटपुट वो कम हो जाता है. प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस जो है वो स्लो हो जाता है, आउटपुट कम हो जाता है. आउटपुट के कम होने का मतलब ये है कि वी हैव मैनी पीपल बिकम जॉबलेस. तो वी रिड्यूस द एम्प्लॉयमेंट और अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट जो होती है इकोनॉमी में वो बढ़ जाती है. और जब अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ती है तो डेफिनेटली नो जॉब्स मीन नो इनकम एंड नो इनकम मीन्स नो कंजम्पशन. तो जब जॉब्स नहीं होती, नौकरी नहीं होती, तो वी हैव नो इनकम टू स्पेंड. और जब पैसा नहीं होता तो वी कैन नॉट कंज्यूम, वी कैन नॉट परचेज टू कंज्यूम, वी कैन नॉट परचेज टू सेटिस्फाई आवर wants. और when there is no demand, no spending prevailing in the economy, people do not have money to spend, और definitely the process of production slows. और जो investors होते हैं, जो producers होते हैं, they will have to keep their production in the storage. उनको अपनी production को inventories में, storage में रखना पड़ता है. और definitely production may be after some time may be affected, the quality of the product may be affected. और वो फिर उसके बाद जो है आफ्टर सम टाइम इट में बिकम यूजलेस, उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं रहती और वो ख़राब हो जाती है. और दिस टाइम, और इसकी वजह से ये जो टाइम पीरियड है विच इज़ नोन एज रिसेशन, इट मे प्रिवेल फॉर द टाइम up to when we do not have jobs and we have high unemployment level in the country. When we have desperation in the country, people have no jobs, they do not have earning sources, and as a result they do not have earnings and cannot consume and cannot demand. So until and unless there are some factors which are likely to affect the situation, we remain in the recession or desperation. हम उस वक्त तक रिसेशन में रहते हैं, हमारी इकॉनमी उस वक्त तक डेस्परेशन में रहती है जब तक कोई ऐसे फैक्टर्स इमर्ज नहीं होते जो कि इस सिचुएशन को बेहतर करने के लिए जो है इमर्ज हों. और इकॉनमी के डेस्परेशन में होने का मतलब ये है कि हमारा जो सारे इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट्स हैं वो डेस्परेशन में हैं. ऑल हमारा एग्रीकल्चर और सेक्टर्स ऑफ द इकॉनमी, बेसिक सेक्टर्स ऑफ द इकॉनमी, दे आर इन डेस्परेट सिचुएशन. और उन सेक्टर्स में कौन कौन से सेक्टर्स हैं? उनमें हमारा एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर है, वी हैव इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर, वी हैव सर्विसेज सेक्टर, वी हैव मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर. जब ये सारे सेक्टर्स जो हैं वो डाउनफॉल में हैं, they are not working in good situation, and they are not in working in systematic manner, they are in desperation. तो सारी मार्केट जो होती है वो भी डेस्परेट में आ जाती हैं. ऐसे मार्केट जो है वो डाउनफॉल को फेस करती है. और देयर विल बी डाउनफॉल इन मनी मार्केट, इन फाइनेंशियल मार्केट, एंड डेफिनेटली व्हेन वी हैव ह्यूज अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट and we do not have labor units to be employed, we have no jobs to offer to the labor, so there will be downfall and desperation prevailing in the labor market. ये सारी सिचुएशन जो होती है और ये इंडिकेट करती है इसको. और रिसेशन में हमें डिफेंसिव सिचुएशन जो है ना और टूल in recession we will have to adopt the defensive tool rather than the growing tool. We will have to defend ourselves. First we will have to try to come out of this desperation situation and come out of the recession. Then we will try to grow and we will try to recover the situation, and how we can try to come out of this situation. We will definitely, we will have no money to spend, we will have no jobs, we will have no productivity, and definitely we will try to create the jobs. And how it will happen through the investment. We will, to come out of this desperate situation, we will have to take this step, and we will have to struggle in order to make the investment in the physical production, in the real production, and we will have to generate the finances for the physical investment. And how we will generate the resources? Definitely they will be with the help of the borrowing, and borrowing will be expensive at the time of the desperation or in downfall time. But we will have to cope with them. Then we will be determined, and we will try to be determined in order to come out of this desperate. So we will generate funds, though at the costly rates, in order to finance the real and physical investment. And what happens as a result, we will be able to generate the jobs. We will offer the jobs to the people. When we can create jobs, people will come and will work. The production process will start happening, and industries will start producing goods and services initially at weaker level, and then will try to recover the situation. They will try to produce at larger scale. And what happens then, that when people have jobs, definitely they will have income, they will be able to earn money, and they will start demanding consumption, demanding goods in the market. And when demand creates and is generated, and definitely at the what happens, that the producers they will have the edge. They will have incentive to supply goods and services, to produce goods and services. And again we can say the cycle and circular flow started, and we start recovering the situation. And when we are able to recover the situation, to manage and adjust the situation in one unit of the industry, the impact can expand to all units of the industry. And when we are able to recover the desperation in one, and manage and adjust the downfall in one industrial unit, we can adjust the downfall in all the industries of the country, and then in all the sectors of the country. And we can say that we, in this respect, in this way, and through this process, we can start recovering the situation. We start generating the demand for goods and services, and production will continue, and will be happen in systematic manners. And ultimately, with the passage of time, with our efficient policies, with our efficient management, we will be able to reach the peak production level of the economy. So we can say through the defensive situation and defensive tools, we can come out the desperation and downfall, and then the economy start growing, and we will be able to reach to the peak productivity level. How this industry influenced by the interest rate, and industry जो होती है वो कैसे इन desperation में जब industry आती है तो या इकोनॉमी आती है, तो इंटरेस्ट रेट इसको कैसे इन्फ्लुएंस करता है? डेफिनेटली ये वो टाइम होता है जब पीपल डू नॉट हैव मनी विद देम. व्हेन दे डू नॉट हैव मनी, दे हैव नो कंजम्पशन, दे हैव नो सेविंग. डेफिनेटली कंजम्पशन और सेविंग जीरो पे तो नहीं होती, बट इट इज एट लो, वेरी लो लेवल, एट मिनिमम लेवल वी कैन से. और उसकी वजह से जब इनकम नहीं होती, पीपल डू नॉट कंज्यूम मोर, दे डू नॉट हैव सेविंग. जब सेविंग नहीं होती, दे सप्लाई ऑफ द रिसोर्सेज, सप्लाई ऑफ द फंड्स to the investors become at minimum level. तो इन अदर वर्ड्स वी कैन से कि सप्लाई ऑफ फंड जो होती है वो शॉर्ट हो जाती है, सेविंग जो होती है वो शॉर्ट हो जाती हैं. तो जब वो शॉर्ट होती हैं तो वी कैन से सप्लाई ऑफ प्राइस ऑफ सेविंग जो होती है वो कम हो जाती है. तो ड्यू टू डेस्परेशन और डाउनफॉल सेविंग लेवल कम हो जाता है, और प्राइस जो होती है, प्राइस ऑफ सेविंग इट इंक्रीजेज. और प्राइस क्या है? इट इज़ द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. तो रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ज़्यादा हो जाता है, इट बिकम्स the supply or the availability of funds, the borrowing of funds, it become expensive. So in this way, definitely the to be courageous, to have the potential, to be determined to come out the downfall, the industrial producer, they will have to borrow at the expensive rates in order to recover this downfall and in order to come out of the this downfall. So we can say in this way the industry interest rate or fluctuations in interest rate, they can affect the industrial production. Are severe stocks dominated in this industry? Is this sector global? And we can say when the industry come out of this situation of the desperation and downfall, the stocks of the industry they can increase. The industry will be able to purchase more stock. और इसके पास मोर स्टॉक आ जाता है इंडस्ट्री में ट्राई टू इन्वेस्ट इन डाइवर्सिफाइड पोर्टफोलियो. इट may invest in a number of different items, in a number of different instruments and the securities and stocks, and then if the situation becomes further better, if the industry is able to produce more and is able to strengthen its situation more and can increase its economic stability, then it can definitely trade at the international level. It can try to purchase the stock at the international level. It can invest in engage in the physical investment at the international level and in international economies, and can also finance the investment and purchase the certificates and securities and stocks at the international financial market. So, we can say that with the help of the potential of the industry and determination, can try to be prosperous again and can try to be dominated again in the field of in this sector of the business. How the fluctuations in currency exchange rate are influencing the sector? Definitely we can say it, if we want to undertake the investment at international level, so currency exchange rate influence the business and investment. For example, if we say, as we discussed earlier, that if the exchange rate is higher exchange rate indicate that we will have to, if we want to undertake physical investment at the international level and in foreign countries, we will have to pay more. We will have to pay more to buy the foreign financial assets, to buy the imports in the foreign countries in order to undertake the financial and the real investment and physical investment. Therefore, we can say this fluctuation in the exchange rate indicates that the exchange rate is basically fluctuating and is indicating unstable situation. और इसकी वजह से जब ये ज़्यादा हो रहा है continuously, if it is increasing, तो we cannot determine the stability, we cannot know and predict when we have to invest. If we are trying to investing and we are on the process of investing in the foreign assets, in foreign physical assets, financial assets, so when suddenly showing big increases in the exchange rate, it will create a problem for the investor, for the domestic investor. And this is the fluctuation in the exchange rate or upward fluctuation in the exchange rate is one type of problem that the investor can face, and they will have to definitely cope with this, and the investment may become costly for them. Or secondly, if the exchange rate is existing at a higher level, और अगर ये high level के ऊपर exchange rate है, तो what is the consequence of this exchange rate? That it shows that we foreign goods and foreign purchases will be expensive for the investor, and investor will have to to purchase the financial assets abroad and the raw material and inputs abroad, and will have to pay more for that. Are these fluctuations of currency influencing the amount of profit received from abroad or the competitiveness of the sector? Therefore, there is no doubt when the exchange rate is high, जब exchange rate जो होता है वो ज़्यादा होता है, तो definitely उसको वहाँ पे and we invest in the foreign countries and we convert in the domestic country. It is good if we purchase here and we we invest in the foreign countries. It is good, and if it is not good if we purchase from the foreigners. For example, if we have to purchase the imports, if we are buyer of imports, we have to purchase foreign imports and we use them in our production in our own country domestically, so it will be expensive for us. It will increase the the cost of production for the individuals, for the individual investors. If we buy the inputs abroad and we invest here in our country, it will increase the total cost of production because their currency is expensive, our currency is cheap. We will have to buy first the foreigner currency, then we will have to pay in terms of that currency. For example, if we buy any input and to make the payments, we will have to buy the foreign exchange first. For example, we buy the dollar first and then we will have to pay back. Let's say if we purchase a commodity of our input of the $10 from the foreigners, and the dollar is equal to rupees 10 roundabout, so 1,100 roundabout, so we will have to pay the 1,000 rupees for $10 abroad to make the payments and to bring the to make the availability of that input easy, and definitely it will reduce the profit, then cost of production increases, total revenues और total cost का जो difference होता है वो कम हो जाता है और इसकी वजह से profit जो होता है वो कम हो जाता है और it reduces the competitiveness. इसकी वजह से international competitiveness जो है वो कम हो जाती है because when we are having the expensive inputs और expensive inputs की वजह से हमें जो है ना हमारी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन कम हो जाती है और वी ऑफर द गुड्स, और इसके दो इम्पैक्ट होते हैं कि स्केल प्रोडक्शन जो है वो कम हो जाती है, इट लीड्स टू रिड्यूस द प्रोडक्शन, और दूसरी बात जो है प्रोडक्शन जो है वो एक्सपेंसिव, वी सप्लाई द गुड्स एट हायर रेट्स. प्रोडक्शन जो है वो कम हो जाती है तो वी कैन सप्लाई द गुड्स, वी कैन ट्रेड एट लोअर लेवल. हमारे पास इतना नहीं बचता कि हम जो है उसकी ट्रेड करें और उसको एक्सपोर्ट करें. दिस इज़ वन प्रॉब्लम. सेकंड प्रॉब्लम इज़ कि जब हमारी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन ज़्यादा है, वी विल ऑफर द गुड्स एट हायर रेट्स. हमें हाई प्राइसेस के ऊपर गुड्स जो होती है वी विल हैव वी सप्लाई डोमेस्टिकली एज वेल एज इन द फॉरेन कंट्रीज. So because of the expensive commodities, it is quite possible that the demand for the foreigners for this particular commodity may be diverted from our country towards the producer of the other countries. तो foreigners जो हैं rather के हमारी expensive product को वो purchase करें, they purchase the product of the other countries or which is relatively cheaper for them, or they will interact and they will trade at international level with the other countries rather than with us. So therefore we can say that our competitiveness reduced in this respect. Is it possible that political and regulation risk could influence this sector? कि political environment और regulation risk जो है वो इस sector को, there is no doubt at all that we have been discussing that the macroeconomic environment, macroeconomic factors, they are likely to influence the environment which can prevail and functioning of the industrial sector. And we have discussed that the macroeconomic factors behavior can also affect the behavior of the financial assets here in our country and the behavior of the returns of the financial assets prevailing in the financial market. One factor are the economic factors. The other type of factors which can affect are the political factors. Political stability is very much needed and is likely to have very much important behavior, is likely to have very much important influence on the smooth and systematic pattern functioning of the industrial sector and the productivity of the industrial sector. If we face the instability in our country at local level, at the country level or at international level, it is going to harm the production of the industrial sector. It is going to create instability and doubtful situation in the industrial sector. तो political sector का systematic और stable होना is very much needed. For example, if we have the instability in the market even for one day in the economy, it may harm the production process for one day in the industrial sector. For example, if there are strikes prevailing in the country and if there are the fights among the different groups of the country, political parties of the country, so we can say, and it may lead to the transportation, it may lead to the may affect the transportation of the factors of production, it may affect the negotiation and adjustment of factors of production, it may affect the communication sector, even for one day may harm the systematic production of the industrial sector for that particular day. So uncertainty in the economy may emerge, uncertainty in the industry may emerge, and which may harm the production process of the industrial sector. Therefore, it is very much important that the economy should be stable economically as well as politically. So stable political factors may be there. The government should work in a stabilized manner, in a systematic manner, and there should be, as far as democracy is concerned, the opposing arguments and thinking may be there, but instability is not something which is good, and the environment are the factors which can make which can create the unstable situation is not good. And as far as the situation of our country is concerned, we say frequent instability as far as the political situation is concerned, and this observance of frequent instability we have we have every time, and frequently and most of the time we have fear of the forces which can affect the production, which can affect the smooth working of the economy and of the industry, therefore, and can create the risk for the investor would not be likely to work, they will not be likely to install the new plants, and they will not be likely to extend the existing plants. So even the local investors and local producers, they may become reluctant due to the unstable environment prevailing in the country. And definitely at international level and international investor, they would avoid the investment in a country where there is political instability. For example, if we look at our country, we are engaged in war and terror since so long, and we have been facing the problems of war and terror, and our strength and our potential are diverted to cope with the problems created by the terror, and rather than focusing fully and with full attention on the production and on the physical production and on the investment and stabilization of the economy, our attention is diverted to much extent to control the situation which is the result of the war and terror, and we can say that is why we are going behind, and our level of production is going down and down, and we are not able, and we are not in a situation and position to increase our standards of living by investing much more in our physical production, by investing much more in our social sector. Continuing with the discussion, we were discussing the fundamental and technical factors in the previous lectures, and we said that these are the important ways with the help of which we can analyze the situation through which the production goes. The base for the company analysis is fundamental analysis are publicly disclosed and audited financial statement of the company. So we can say fundamentals are basically the roots of the analyzing the roots of the and basic sectors of the economy indicate the fundamental analysis. Therefore, to have the good environments, to have the systematic trade in the financial sector in terms of stock market, which we are basically in the need of having the stable pattern of the forces working in our root sector of the economy, or those sectors are basically the overall economic performance, industrial performance, and performance of the companies and the micro level units. So balance sheet is one important aspect, profit and loss statements are other, cash flow statements are another, which we can analyze for in order to have the fundamental analysis. Statement of the portfolio distribution analysis could use the period not less than 3 years. So we can say fundamental analysis is important to analyze the behavior of the economic behavior of the economy, of the industry, and of the companies. So as far as the company is concerned, we should analyze the balance sheet of the company as far as the revenues and the cost is concerned, and we should also analyze the profit and loss of the company, that whether it have been facing loss or profit. And definitely, if we observe that firm is and the company is facing a loss, we will have to look at why it is having loss. what were the logics behind why it had, or it shows that the company has not been working smoothly and systematically with the balanced situation. And if the company is facing a loss, definitely there will be no profit. Cash flow statement and statement of the profit distribution, that how the cash flows and what was the pattern of the distribution of the profit among different shareholders of the company. And this whole analysis of the situation should be less than should be of at least comprises of at least 3 years. And we can say that the analysis of comprising of this time period and of with respect to all these aspects of the company can provide us complete and proper analysis of the situation and can guide the investor to undertake their decisions in a proper way, in a systematic way, with proper understanding. And once they have the knowledge, with the help of these analysis and their proper knowledge of the industrial investment, they can make their decisions proper, and they will decide what type of investment they should include in their portfolio and what type of investment should not be included in their portfolio. Continuing with the discussion, we have the another important thing which is known as ratio analysis. Ratio analysis is useful when converting raw material statement and raw financial statements information into form that makes easy to compare form of the different sizes. So we can say that the ratios are basically important when we want to analyze the situation of an industrial production of the different firms which are having different capabilities, which are having different capacities. So we can take the ratio analysis. For example, if we look at the one type of aspect, if we study the one type of aspect of any one company, let's say we analyze the revenue situation, we analyze the supply situation, we analyze the cost of inputs of the one firm, so we can undertake we can take the ratio of the similar variable with respect to some other firm, with respect to some other company. So we can, in this respect, we can know how we can compare the situation prevailing in different companies industrial in different companies production process, कि उनके प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस जो है उनको कैसे हम कंपेयर कर सकते हैं, एक इंडस्ट्री का दूसरी के साथ कैसे कंपेरिजन कर सकते हैं. तो अगर हम उनकी डिमांड का रेशो लें, अगर हम उनकी सप्लाई का लें, अगर कॉस्ट ऑफ इनपुट्स का लें, अगर हम उनके रेवेन्यूज का रेशो लें, अगर हम उनकी प्रॉफिट का लें, लॉस का लें, रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट रेट का लें जो उन्होंने पे किया, तो वी कैन लुक एट, वी कैन एनालाइज दी एंड इन द लाइट ऑफ द कंपैरिजन ऑफ द साइज ऑफ टू फर्म्स कि उनकी परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो क्या रही है. और एट द एंड डेफिनेटली वी कैन हैव सर्टन important conclusion कि which company is better, is performing better than the other. In other words, we can say that which company is likely to have good size as far as supply is concerned, is likely to have good are the product of the company. One company is more attracted by the consumer, more demand by the consumer as compared to the other company, and what revenues one company has generated from the sale of the output as compared to the other company, what loss or profit has been made by different companies, and accordingly the firm can decide and can take the decision in the light of these comparison, in the light of the performance of the and in light of the behavior of the different companies. The firm or the industry or the particular company can undertake its own decision, so that it is able to, and it may be able to minimize the cost, and it may be able to maximize the benefit. Then we have we can say that analysis includes the examination of main financial ratios. और वो जो financial ratios हैं जिनकी we have been discussing, and we have mentioned कि financial ratios are very much important for the proper guidance of the any other and any new company to undertake new investment, to for their investment to be extended, to take decision about the maturity of time period of their assets and their investment. First is profitability ratio. we should take the profitability ratio of the companies which measure the earning power of the firm. Profitability basically indicates how much profit one firm has earned as compared to the other firm. Definitely, if we assume and if we observe that one firm has higher profit as compared to the other firm, so we can come to know कि ये जो firm जिसका higher profit था, definitely it was having good background situation. इसका जो input थे वो अच्छे थे and input prices कम थी, इसका जो production function था वो efficient था और इसके adjustment and negotiation with the supplier of input थी वो efficient थी. तो there were definitely many factors which were working positively, which were working in positive sense behind this higher profit, and the new coming firms and new coming companies, they can work and they can install and they can undertake their investment in the light of the profitability ratios and comparison of profitability of different companies. Then liquidity is another important, liquidity of which firm is greater as compared to other, because liquidity is very much important. कौन सी firm ने ज़्यादा liquid assets and funds use किए as compared to the other, because liquidity and use of liquid funds and liquid assets is too much important for the speed and smooth functioning of any industry and any industrial process. So we can say that liquidity is too much important. If we compare liquidity of the two companies and we take the ratios, we can find, we can come to know that the company using more liquid assets were in more profit as compared to those who were reluctant to use liquid financial assets and were having the fixed financial assets or less liquid financial funds and items. Then third is debt ratio. What is the debt ratio? Which company is likely to have more debt is in the liability of paying more debt as compared to the other company? And we can find that a firm is better situation of the production and is producing systematically, is going on a prosperous way. So we can find that definitely side by side it will be involved and will be induced to pay back the debt. So we can find that that if we have one company which is in profitable situation and is having low debt, so we can find that this company is definitely in better situation. So having less debt is another important plus point to expand and to introduce new investment and to expand the investment and to introduce the innovations in the investment. And assets is another, that the ownership assets, what are the ownership assets, what is the ratio of ownership assets. दो firms का जो ownership assets का ratio है वो क्या है, whether one firm is having more ownership of assets as compared to the other firm and other company. And if we come to know that the company which is having more assets in its ownership is likely to earn more, is likely to earn more revenues, is in good situation to sell more product in the market, and as compared to the other firm which is likely to have less ratios and which is likely to own less assets, and we can say, and then we can calculate the market value of these assets. Okay, what is the market value of these assets? If we assume that one firm is likely to have one type of assets, or it has invested in the assets, has purchased the assets beside going through the production process, and what type of the assets the second firm is likely to own and has purchased, and we will have to make the market value, we will have to calculate the market value. Then we take the comparison of the market value, that what is the nature of the assets purchased by the first firm and what is the nature of the assets purchased by the second firm. So in other words, we can say what is the market value of the assets of the one firm and what is the market value of the assets of the other firm. If we find that the assets of first firm is likely to own the assets which are more precious and whose value is very high as compared to the second firm, so we can say that the production process definitely undertaken by the first firm, or the production function of the first firm is much more efficient as compared to the production function of the and the functioning of the second firm. So we can say that, and we will have to definitely, in comparison this, we can have a proper knowledge of the industrial units working in the and functioning in the industrial production process, and we can take, as an investor, we can take the guideline, and we can spread the information in the market, in the light of the policy points of different industrial companies and different units of the industry. And this may provide proper information to the those who want to undertake new investment, who want to introduce investment, or it may provide information to those companies who are growing on the course of their production, and to those companies who are at the end of the maturity, and also those who are trying to and who are likely to introduce new investment and innovations. Therefore, we can say that the ratio analysis is much more important in order to guide the investors and new investors. Then we have profitability. We have discussed all these. What is the profitability ratio, which measures the earning power of the firm? Liquidity ratio measures the ability of the firm to pay its immediate liabilities. If we have the liquid money with us, if the firms have and companies have liquidity funds with them, they can immediately pay for their liabilities and for their agreed upon agreements and decisions. For example, they can pay for the rate of interest, for the installment of the loan, for the rewards of the factors of production, and they can pay the utility bills immediately if they have the liquid fund. Otherwise, if they do not have much more liquid fund, they will have to wait to transfer their certificates in the liquid form, or it is quite possible they may have to face the fines due to late of the payments. Debt ratios measure the firm ability to pay the debt obligation over time. Assets utilization ratio, which measures the firm's ability to use its assets efficiently. Market value ratio are additional group of ratios which reflect the market value of stock and the firm, which tells us that how the market value should be calculated and how the ratio of market value of the assets of different firm can improve the impression and position and financial status of the one firm as compared to the other firms. So then we have financial ratios by the categories. We can discuss the ratios. Profitability ratios, which tells us gross profit margin. We have ratio, we have equation on the other column. We are basically presenting two columns over here. The first column provides us with the ratio, the second column gives the equation. First ratio gives us profitability ratio, which is under the headings of profitability ratio. We have number of profitability ratios. First one is gross profit margin, and for the equation we have gross profit and sale, and second row is operating profit margin and operating profit per sale. Third is net profit margin, net income per sale, and return on assets, net income per total assets, return on equities, net income per shareholders equalities. Then we have the liquidity ratios. Under the heading of liquidity ratios, we have number of liquidity ratios, and for example we can have current ratios first category, and in equation in the second column we have current assets per current liabilities, and we have quick ratios which are equal to current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities. Thirdly, we have net working capital, which is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. Then we have the third category, debt ratios. Debt to assets ratio is equal to total liabilities divided by total assets, and debt to equity is equal to total debt divided by total equity times interest earned is equal to income before interest and taxes per income. Then we move to the next, which is assets utilization ratio. We have the investor turnover, which is equal to cost of goods sold and per inventory, and then we have receivable turnovers, which is equal to sales or credit per receivables, and fixed asset turnover is equal to ratio of sales, and fixed asset total assets turnover is equal to ratio of the sales to total assets, and market value ratio capitalization is equal to number of common stock and market price of common stock, and earnings per share is equal to net income minus cash dividend of preferred share, preferred stock divided by number of common stock. And this is the end of the 2 days lecture. At the end of the 2 days lecture, I will give the summary of the lecture. Today's lecture is lecture number 19. We were discussing the industrial cycle, that how the industrial production can be analyzed, and we discussed the third important aspect of the industrial production, which was the cost. That is, cost can impact the proper or useful and profitable industrial production. We did this with the help of different other concepts and the diagrams. Also, fourth important was the influence, that how the influence of the economic factors and financial market can be to the performance of the industry. And we also discussed the recession period under this, and we discussed the recovery period, discussed the we also discussed the peak period. And going through this process of discussion, we said that if the industry is involved with the international trade, and there are fluctuations in the exchange rate, then what is the impact on the performance of the industry, and what is the impact of the political fluctuations, political instability, and the fluctuations in the political factors on the performance of the industry. And then we move to discuss the fundamental analysis with respect to the companies, that what type of analysis we can made as far as different aspects of the company's performance are concerned. Then we discuss the ratio analysis, how we can analyze the industry as far as the analysis in terms of different ratios is concerned. And after discussing these different ratios, which are known as profitability, liquidity, debt ratio, asset ratio, market value ratio, we summarized all these ratios in detail with the help of a table in which we basically analyze the different categories of this ratio, different categories of profitability ratio, of liquidity ratio, and of asset ratios, and of debt ratios, and the market value. And that was the 2 days lectures. I hope with the help of these concepts, with the help of the discussion, with the help of the reading material and the slides, you will be able to make your concepts clear to greater extent, and keep up with your studies, and take care of yourself. Inshallah, we will meet in next class. See you up till that time. Allah Hafiz.